Nkem lived in a village long choked by dust and hardship. Once, she had been known for her bright laughter and quick steps. Once, her husband had danced with her beneath festival drums, lifting her into the air as if she were weightless. But the great river had swallowed him one stormy season, and all at once, her life had collapsed like a hut with no pillars. The farm he left behind refused to bless her. Year after year, her yams shriveled in the ground. Her hands cracked from toil. Hunger became a constant shadow following her everywhere. Her only joy in all the world was her daughter, Chiamaka, a small girl with laughter like birds greeting the morning. Her eyes were bright, full of a softness that even poverty could not dim. But hunger is patient, and hunger does not give up. Slowly, Chiamaka's cheeks hollowed, her tiny ribs began to show, and her mother's heart cracked a little more each day. One searing afternoon, as Nkem sat in the dust staring hopelessly at her barren farm, a deep thunder rolled through the village. Heads turned, children scattered, even the wind seemed to pause. Chief Obina's grand carriage, pulled by horses that gleamed like polished metal, rumbled into their corner of the village. Chief Obina climbed down heavily, his gold-embroidered robe catching the sunlight in blinding flashes. Rings clung to every finger, glinting like small suns. His cheeks were full, his stomach round, and yet his eyes, sharp, predatory, missed nothing. He smiled at no one, yet the villagers bowed low. He was a man feared more than loved. His wealth seemed endless, growing even as the village starved. He approached Nkem's hut, but his footsteps slowed when he saw Chiamaka playing in the dust, tracing patterns with a stick and humming a soft tune. "Nkem," he said, his voice deep enough to rumble the air. "I have observed your suffering." She stiffened, her throat closed. No one ignored the chief. "I have also observed your daughter," he continued, his gaze locked on Chiamaka. "She carries a rare and delicate spirit." Nkem swallowed hard, fear crawling across her skin. "She is all I have," she whispered. "Yes," the chief replied, "and that is why I have come." He gestured, and one of his servants stepped forward, carrying a peculiar brass box. Its surface was carved with twisting ancient symbols. Even in the sun, it seemed to glow from within, alive. "I want the girl," Chief Obina said simply. "Name your price. She will be cared for, lavishly." The world went silent. Nkem heard only her heartbeat. Her child? Her Chiamaka? Her soul screamed no, but her body trembled with weakness. Her mind replayed nights when her daughter cried from hunger, mornings when there was nothing to boil, days when she watched her child's steps grow slower, breaths grow thinner. She looked at Chiamaka, small, smiling, trusting. Then she looked at the chief's shimmering robe, the polished carriage, the brass box humming softly as if it recognized her doubt. Her lips trembled. "If she must leave me," she whispered, "I want enough wealth to never know hunger again." The chief smiled, slow and cold. With a flick of his hand, a heavy sack of gold and cowries landed at her feet. The sound it made echoed like a lifetime of prayers being answered and betrayed at the same time. The next morning, Nkem woke before the sun. With trembling hands, she dressed Chiamaka in her best faded wrapper. The girl giggled and twirled, excited by promises of sweet food and new clothes. "Mama, I will come back," she said, wrapping her small arms around Nkem's waist. Nkem nodded, but her heart felt like ice. She watched her daughter walk away, step by tiny step, towards the chief's servants. The brass box sat on the chief's lap, humming, almost in satisfaction. Chiamaka turned once, waved brightly, then disappeared into the dust. Nkem fell to her knees after the carriage rolled away. the wind carrying away the last echo of her daughter's laughter. But wealth came, and with it, comfort. Her mud hut became a strong house. Her farms flourished under hired hands. She wore fine wrappers, she ate meals she had only dreamed of. But she did not sleep. Every night she lay awake hearing Chiamaka's voice in the back of her mind, soft and distant. The laughter of other children tore open wounds that gold could not close. Years passed. Whispers began. People said that no one ever saw Chiamaka in the chief's compound. They said she was always occupied, always inside, always well, yet never seen. And the chief's wealth grew beyond reason. His skin never wrinkled, his steps never slowed, his horses never tired. Something unnatural filled him. One moonless night, Nkem woke from a dream so vivid she was trembling. In the dream, Chiamaka stood before her, crying softly. "Mama, why did you leave me? Mama, I am hungry." The cry echoed in her ears long after she opened her eyes. Nkem rose like a woman possessed. She wrapped her wrapper around her waist and ran into the night, her feet pounding the earth. She climbed the chief's compound wall with a desperation only a mother could summon, scraping her palms on the rough stone. Inside, everything was silent. A faint humming reached her ears, the same hum she had heard on the day she lost her child. She followed it, slow and careful, through the shadowed corridors until she arrived at the chief's inner chamber. There, the chief lay sleeping, his chest rising and falling in slow, heavy breaths. But Nkem's eyes were drawn instantly to the brass box.
It sat open on a stool beside him. Inside, instead of gold, there was a tiny wooden figurine, delicately carved, the size of a small doll. Its shape froze her blood. It was a girl with Chiamaka's face. A girl who looked exactly the age Chiamaka had been when the chief took her. Nkem's breath caught as the figurine's tiny chest rose and fell, rising perfectly in rhythm with the chief's. Then a faint voice drifted into the air, thin, trembling, heartbroken. "Mama, I am so hungry and so alone." Nkem's scream tore from her throat before she could stop it. Her knees buckled. She pressed her palm to her mouth, sobbing. The chief stared. He opened his eyes. "What are you doing here?" he growled. But Nkem was no longer afraid. She seized the brass box with both hands. The chief lunged from his bed with surprising speed, but Nkem's grief had turned to fury. With one final cry, she hurled the box to the floor. It shattered. Light burst into the room, pure, blinding, alive. A soft, sorrowful cry filled the chamber, as if the air itself was mourning. And for a brief second, a small glowing figure, Chiamaka's spirit, drifted upward like smoke in moonlight. Then it vanished. The chief gasped. His body collapsed, his skin shriveled instantly, as though centuries of age struck him all at once. His rings fell from withered fingers. His wealth, his strength, his unnatural life all drained away in a heartbeat. He lay on the floor, nothing more than a dried husk. Nkem fell beside the shattered box, clutching his fragments, tears spilling onto the cold floor. She had freed her daughter, but she had lost her forever. The next morning, she returned to the village. Her wealth meant nothing. Her fine clothes hung above her like burdens. Her house felt empty, hollow. She abandoned it all and spent her remaining years sitting by the great river, the same river that had taken her husband. Children often gathered near her, listening to her gentle, worn-out voice as she told them her story. And this is what she told them. Some prices are too high. Some treasures cannot be bought. And the greatest love in this world can never be traded for gold. And so, children of the moonlight, that is the bitter truth behind the brass box, the truth of a mother's choice, and the terrible price of despair.
Love a good story? From the heart of the savannah to the bustling cities, we bring the best of African storytelling right to your screen. Subscribe now so you never miss a tale.